Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to the BNS channel. My name is EdieAnne. We're doing a video on fundraisers. Imagine that. I don't think I've ever done a video on fundraisers before. So not true. If you have not seen any of my videos on fundraisers, then please go to my channel, do a search on fundraisers. There's also a playlist. That's how many videos I've done. Hopefully you'll find something that's of help to you. I want to talk about finding fundraisers, because it seems to be the biggest problem of people not doing them. They just can't find them, and it's sad to me because I feel that fundraisers can be such a lucrative part of your business. Not only for expanding your network and finding people that you probably would never have sold to if it hadn't been for the fundraiser, but you're giving back to the community, and that's pretty big as a company. It's huge as a company for your community to see that you are a business that wants to give back to the community and not just take from the community, right? You have to excuse the bumps, guys. I'm sorry. Our roads are pretty crappy right now. So here's the deal. I am a firm believer that it's as easy as asking. I think that a lot of people have a fear of asking. I think their fear is based on rejection, that they don't want to hear no, and they're afraid that people are going to think something about them. I don't know. So the first thing that you need to learn how to do is ask, and it's great practice when you hand out samples or when you do the Pay It Forward program. Don't know what that is? Then go look on my channel. There's just a lot of different techniques that can help you to learn to get out of your comfort zone, basically, and ask people. Have conversations with people. Don't, there, that's better. Ooh, that was light. It looked like I was washed out. I think that if you can get past the fear of getting a no, so many things in your business are going to flourish, and it could be rather quickly. Because see, the problem is a lot of people hear the word no and they stop. They don't want to hear it again. They think, they take it personally, they get their feelings hurt, they think something, maybe that person is upset with them, doesn't, whatever the reason that you concoct in your head for why somebody said no is probably not true. Because when somebody says no, it's a personal thing to them. Something's going on in their life that they just aren't, maybe they're scared to do a party. Maybe they're scared to say yes, right? So don't take no's personally, because I just think that when you do that, you're harnessing your business to a spot that is not going to grow, and we don't want that. And so when it comes to fundraisers, it's a matter of just going out and asking. Now, the kicker here is going to be, well, where do I ask, Edie? Who do I ask? I'm going to give you a few tips that I have been known to do, but I've done a lot of really good fundraisers, and we've had a lot of success, and I am very proud of my fundraising that I do in my communities. And I say communities because we've got like 3 or 4 towns here that are back to back that I do business with. So the number one way is to walk in, and now a lot of people are going to say, Edie, how come we, do you have a letter that you send out? No, I don't. Do you have a flyer that you use? No, I don't. I'm not a big person for writing stuff down and trying to get business that way, whether it's an email or written. I really, really feel that face-to-face is the best way to get fundraisers. Why do I feel that way? Well, I think it's because they have the opportunity to see us full on, face-to-face, get our true intentions. A lot of people can read our character, whether we're somebody that they can trust. When it comes to fundraising, it can be a lot of work on their part, not yours, but theirs. And so they need to be able to know that they can trust you to do the very best for them on their behalf, right? So asking at the schools, You know, you walk in, you ask the secretary, who is in charge of the sporting clubs or the sporting teams? Or maybe just, is there somebody in general that's in charge of fundraising for the school itself? There could be that, depending on how big your school is. I know for us here in my community that I grew up in, they have class advisors, which are typically teachers that help with fundraising efforts for each class. Now, we know in high school that there is a prom and there's a project graduation. Those are the two minimal or the two main things that our children fundraise for in high school. They start right at freshman year fundraising for prom and for project graduation. They need to have enough money in their account to be able to fulfill and have these things come to fruition, right? Once they get to juniors and seniors. So ask who the class advisors are. Ask them what their fundraising efforts are. And then have conversations with them in regards to what you can offer. And don't make it difficult, guys. A fundraiser is just a party. A fundraiser is just a party that you give your commissions for. Right? A fundraiser is where you say, okay, I'm going to give you a certain percentage of my commission for the sales that you do. And then you keep the hostess rewards. So a party is just, a fundraiser is just a party where the rewards and the commission are flipped, right? In a party, you give the hostess the rewards, you keep the commission. In a fundraiser, you give the commission to the organization and you keep the rewards. So don't make it harder than it is, okay? All you have to do is figure out the percentage that you want to give them. And typically, I will say and let them know that, this is not always the case, guys, and this is why I don't like doing stuff like this on video, but for the most part, I will average anywhere between 15 and 25%, depending on the administrative stuff that I have to do, depending on how much sales they have. That's always my indicator. So the more sales they have, the more percentage they get. Okay? Where else can you ask for fundraisers? Fundraisers are huge at school. So we've got class advisors for our prom and graduation. We have clubs. We have things like future, I forget what it's called. Future, I don't know. I can't remember now. But anyway, there's a bunch of different clubs. I know when I was in school, we had sign language. We had, there's futures. I can't think of what it is. And then they have like the student councils and civil rights is one of the ones that we have here in our area that does a fundraiser with me often. Civil Rights Club, chess club. There's just all kinds of different clubs within a high school that are looking to raise money for different things. Sometimes like maybe travel teams, the rec department. So then you go in from clubs to sporting teams. Sporting teams always need money. They always need money to get uniforms. They always need money to travel. They always need money for their team, period. So they're another place that you should be asking if they need to raise funds. Outside of the high school. Now the high school's got a lot of different potential. The grammar school and the kindergarten or Head Start, a lot of times those are state funded, not federally funded, but state funded, which means they're not getting a lot of money, like Head Starts. You want to make sure that you are asking them if they have fundraising needs, okay? So the schools are big. No matter what level, the schools are big. The other places that I would check are like local SPCAs. Now, I'm going to give you a precursor on this. If you've watched any of my other videos, you understand that I feel the more foot soldiers you have to go out and do the selling, the better your fundraiser is going to be. If the organization is depending on you to do the fundraising, then that's going to be difficult and you're not going to raise as much because you're going to be spending most of your time fundraising rather than running your business. And your customers could potentially not want to buy from you every time if you're doing fundraisers all the time, right? So consider that. So like with the SPCA, it's difficult to do those because there's not a lot of people that can go out and sell. Now, if you get 3-4 people that want to go out and sell, you're going to do well. You're going to be just fine. But you should make that limit with them and say, hey, look, I need to recruit 3 or 4 people that are going to go out. Let's say 5. I need to recruit 5 people to go out and do the selling, because of the reasons that I just gave, that your customers aren't going to want to buy from you if you're just doing fundraisers all the time and that sort of thing. They should not be depending on your sales, your customers. They need to be creating new customers. So yeah, like SPCAs, battered women's shelters, any kind of shelter for that matter, if there's something there, the Red Cross, and I mean, there's just so many places that are looking for fundraising. Sorry about that. I just got distracted. Right. So having your mind open to things like the hospital guild. We have a hospital guild here. They're constantly raising funds for the hospital. Sometimes teachers are looking to raise funds because they have to buy their own school supplies. Just remember that whomever you fundraise for, you need to have their permission, right? You got to cover your butt, guys. I'm telling you, you got to get permission from the people that you're fundraising for, and have as many people out there selling, which is what I call foot soldiers, out there selling for you so that you can earn more money for them, okay? Because if only one person's out there selling, unless they're busting their butt every day, you're not going to get a lot of sales in that short amount of time that you're looking to. Well, because mostly the people that are doing the fundraising, if it's one person, they're not people that are oriented on sales. They could do good, they could probably do excellent, but you need to make sure that you have all of these factors in place and ask. Say, who's going to be out selling? Some of the other things that I like to do is, how many times have you walked by or driven by a car wash or a bake sale or a craft sale or some kind of a sale that the kids are out there trying to do their fundraising of their own, right? I stop at those. I will stop and say, who is in charge of this fundraiser? And I will pull them aside and I will say, do you need to earn more money for your club or organization or whatever it is that you're raising money for? And a lot of times they'll say yes, and I'll say, okay, I have an option for you. Let's, that truck was not where it was supposed to be in the road. Let's talk and let me give you some information as to how you can do a fundraiser. And remember, keep it simple. If you make it difficult, they're not going to want to raise funds. Right? So you just tell them, hey, I will give you the fundraising packet. You guys go out and sell. I'll pick up the packets and everything else will be done by me. When it's done and sorted, I will bring it back for you to deliver. So all you guys need to do is sell and deliver. I will do everything else. And treat it like a party, but you give them their commission, your commission. Okay? There are so many different options for finding fundraisers that it's insane. Pick up a Yellow Pages. I know that the phone books are few and far between nowadays, but pick up a phone book and look through the Yellow Pages. You know, find places that you feel could potentially be needing money to, you know, using a fundraiser. There's a lot of people that could potentially use money that are ill. I'll give you an example. I have a little girl here in town that has cancer, and she travels back and forth about she usually goes to Portland, Bangor or Portland, 4 to 8 hours to get to where she has to go get her chemo. That's a lot of money. Now, granted, there's insurances and there's programs and stuff that can help them so that they can pay for these things, but there's incidentals and stuff that don't get considered into those programs that sometimes they need help for. So if you rally a few people and say, hey, we're fundraising for this certain person. Now remember, you have to get permission from the person you are fundraising for. Because if you fundraise and somebody feels that you have kept the money or something happens, this is your way of covering your butt, is by getting the permission from the person. Because all they have to do is go to that person and say, hey, did you hear that Edie's doing a fundraiser for you? And they can say, yes. Yeah, we do. We know. So you got to cover your butt. Organizations too, a lot of people will go out and do fundraisers for the Heart Association and think that they're going to send a check to the Heart Associations. You can't really do that because you need to get permission from them. So what I suggest for that is find a local chapter. Find a local chapter. Most of those organizations or associations are going to be through your hospital. Okay? So there's different ways to do fundraising. And different things to do fundraising. So just keep your mind open, but first and foremost, don't be afraid to ask, because obviously you're going to get no all the time if you don't ask. Okay, so that's my spiel for my 16 minutes this morning. I hope you found that helpful. I'm going to put a link to the playlist in the information bar below, so that you know where to find my other videos on fundraising. All right, have an amazing day. Bye.